You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 151, and we've got the man, Mr. Rusty Heron, coming to us all the way from Southern Ontario and LaSalle, Ontario, the owner of Heron Game Calls, who most of you, if not all of you, have already heard him on this show, and you probably already got one of his calls on your lanyard or on your display because they're fucking awesome. Rusty, welcome. Thanks for coming on. Short notice because I only messaged you last night and asked you if you were going to come on, if you were able to come on. So I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you being on here for the last hour, letting me pick your brain with all kinds of questions about stuff that's coming up in the new year. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Always, anytime for you and the whole Punisher crew. Philly, I really wish you were here so I could beat on you a little bit, but
you know what that fucker said? He sent me a message when we were talking. He said, I'm getting shittered with the neighbors. Can you imagine? He picked his neighbors over you. I think them's be fighting words. Just saying, Philly.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on like Donkey Kong. No, buddy, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy work and then this heat that's in Southern Ontario right now. And I know Ohio, Kansas. I was talking to Bobby Hayes the other day. He said it was like 104 down in Kansas, and it's just it's there, it's gross. So and you were gonna call me last night, and the heat beat the shit out of you, so you came home. Yeah.
I tapped 7 o'clock, nighty night, bam bam.
Nighty night, bam. No, it's good though. It's good, but that heat is kicking the shit out of us all right now. It's nasty. So, for any of you that are not experiencing this humidity and heat wave that we're in, good on you and lucky you, because it's just gross right now. And yeah. I'm not complaining though. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I want to see snow or anything, but I could do with a few degrees lower. It would be nice.
Just get us to the low 70s, high 60s, low 70s. Yeah. I don't want winter. I don't want fall yet. Mm-hmm. I know it might sound strange. Oh, you're a great big duck goose guy. Yeah. I really enjoy summer.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy humidity at 6 a.m. when I go out to water the garden. It's a little much. The only thing worse than the humidity here the last couple of days is taxes. And, you grow up, you taxes all the time. The humidity, man, and maybe I'm just getting older, but it sure sucks.
Get off my lawn. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just complaining about taxes all the time. And it's killing me. So that's what I say to anybody that I talk from the States, and I compare, like when I'm comparing Canadians to Americans, that's one thing I say Americans are so tax adverse, right? Like for a politician to bring up taxes in the States, that's political suicide. Like, just quit now, bud, because you're not going to get voted in if you're talking about raising taxes down the States. But here in Canada, what? Another tax? Oh, sure. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we love tax.
Yeah, I'm not going down that road because I'll probably get myself in trouble talking about some of my viewpoints on that. But hey, listen, I'm going to start this conversation off with a rumor that I've been told, and have yet to have it confirmed to me by you. I haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything, but I've been told that a duck call jig has been purchased and you've been in the shop. And I'm going to put you right on the spot right now, and I'm asking you to confirm or deny said jig and duck call.
I think the Leafs are going to win the cup this year.
Well played. Well played, sir. Well played. Well, and if Sean Stahl's listening, which I hope he is, Sean, Toronto signed Bertuzzi. So I know that's just a little dig in it. A Red Wings fan right there.
And Detroit signed Justin Hall. There's another.
There's another twist for you. Yeah, I'm sure Stahl will be cursing Justin Hall here in another couple months. Oh boy.
100%. So, confirm or deny?
The millions of fans want to know.
I may have received more than one jig.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
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 I see. Do we
So,
have a timeline on when we could maybe expect to see or hear something coming from this other jig?
you are going to see and hear one model from this by maybe the end of this weekend.
Ooh. And then, and this is me just using my deductive reasoning, and then possibly maybe available for purchase in August at the Grimsby show.
Oh, there's no maybe about that.
Okay.
That's definitely.
There you go. Heard it here first. No big deal.
I have a new single reed standard J frame / upslope duck call that I'm about, but I'm going to offer it in more than one model.
Okay.
And I can't say a whole lot about it
No, of
because
course.
I have one name for the deluxe Ferrari version of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't exactly come to a conclusion on the name for the meat and potatoes version of it.
Ooh.
It's going to be some of the best work I've ever done put into the fancy version. And then there's going to be your standard run of the mill. There's no that it's going to have the exact same sound. It's going to be like the Fiero Ferrari.
Yeah.
They're going to look identical, but the only difference here is they're not going to look identical. They're going to sound identical.
Awesome. That's big news, man. Like it really is.
So I've always joked around with duck calls that duck calls are easy and that I'm a goose call guy and everything. Holy jeez. Let me go let this dog before he pauses his window.
So for anybody that, you know, as we're waiting for Rusty to go get his dog out and quiet them all down, if you haven't heard of any Rusty's calls or anything, you can go on Facebook on Call Nuts, search him up on YouTube, check out his Facebook page, and you'll see what he's talking about when it comes to his goose calls. Sorry, Rusty. Back over to you.
Sure. So no, hey, listen, goose calls are what people know me for, like 100%. And I have the People's Champ duck call that's just a long going laugh with myself and a bunch of my fellow duck call making friends. It was never made to enter the market to be the next greatest duck call out there or anything. It was honestly just made so that when I go to these call making functions, I had something that I could put in the contest to go against them with, so that on the small chance that I ever beat somebody, I could just have fun with it for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Deal. It was never meant to be, you know, something great. And I've always known from day one that it wasn't something great, which is why I really didn't make a whole lot of them available. I mean, enough people drove me, for lack of a better term, crazy. Hey, I got 3 of your goose calls. I need a duck call. Hey, no, I got 8,000 friends that make duck calls. I'd rather you spend your money there. No, I want one of yours.
Yeah.
You can only hear that so long before you just say, fine, I'll make one.
Yeah. No,
I did that.
absolutely.
It was honestly something to have fun with, but it was nothing I was proud of.
Okay.
This new one, I think I'm more proud of it than my goose calls.
Oh, that's sexy.
And this is why. Because this new one isn't just me. This new one's all.
Say that again. You cut off there.
This new one, it's all in the family.
Oh boy.
A little bit of Rusty.
Yeah.
A whole lot of bit of Ben.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Riley tied into one. This isn't just something that I was hands-on with. This is a family call.
Oh,
and that's why I'm having trouble with the name on the regular call, because I kind of want to tie family tree into a duck call name somehow, and English isn't exactly my greatest achievement.
No, that's really cool though, and I think, you know, for anybody that's on the calling scene, the calling circuit, you know, they definitely know Benny, and if they've paid attention, they know who Riley is as well, and they know who you are. So, you know, three different three different ways of looking at how to skin this cat, I would think. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to hear this thing. And good for you, because like if it's somebody that's constantly and you're always getting it, make me a call. Yeah. If the public demands it, who are you to deny them, Rusty Heron?
So what's really cool about this is, while I may have been the one that got the jig made, I know the people contact for that. Shout out to Wade at Webfoot. This jig is going to make calls for me, but if Ben and Riley want to make calls on it, it's going to make calls for them as well.
Oh, cool.
It's I've never had this much fun messing around with stuff. There's quite a few people that have heard rough prototypes of it and felt with the sound. And there's people that have been critical in the beginning. They're trying to find that sound. And it's really good to have friendships like that, because when you're a friend in need of honest advice, the last thing you want is to be lied to.
Yeah.
And so this thing took the better part of 2.5 to 3 years before we settled and said, yep, that's it.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's the best duck call out there.
No, but it's something that you're super proud of.
I'll tell you right now, it's in the same conversation as all of them. And I'm tickled. That's not for the sales, because my inbox is going to, and I don't want it to. I'm not going to take orders on these things at all. I'm going to make them when I feel it. What the kids do with any potential designs they come up with, that's on them.
Yeah.
But I just think it is so awesome to have that moment with my boys. You know, messing around, going back and forth. And if nobody here knows me that well, my boys are 17 and 19 years old, and they're 3,000 times the duck caller I've ever been, and certainly ever will be. So I go to them for advice. So to be able to bounce all this stuff back and forth has been, for me, awesome. Because this is, you know, everybody has their own thing in life that, you know, they really want to achieve. And for me, being able to spend moments like that with my boys is everything.
Well, so, I remember talking to you, Rusty, like way back when, and even the first time you were on the show, right? Like you had talked about your connection with your dad in the shop, right? and you learning how to turn wood in the shop from your dad. And it was a big part of who you are. It was a big part of your childhood and growing up and the whole bit, right? And now, um, it's getting passed on to another generation. And I don't want to take away anything from the work that you and your dad had done way back when, but when your love, so, and I'm talking about Ben and Riley right now, when the thing that gets you out of the bed to hunt ducks, if you can tie in your passion with their passion and you guys come together on something, buddy, that's winning as a parent in my book, because God knows it's hard enough as it is to find common ground with teenagers and kids these days. So when you can find something like that, have the three of yous uh come together to build it, I don't know, it's pretty special. Like I'm thinking about it now, and just to be able to, I would, I guess what I'm thinking about those conversations sitting around the table, and you're like, well, I like this, well, I don't like that, I think we should do this. Like those are the like I'd love to have been a fly on the wall to hear those conversations.
So we definitely had lots of that.
Yeah.
One of my best buddies, and definitely my best call making buddy, because I turn calls right beside him all the time. Ryan Douglas, Foul
Yep.
Dog.
Yep.
I had a lot of not so good, and then a couple. Yeah, I really like where that's headed from him. But to tie the whole family thing in, and this is just me being an emotional sap. Uh, when I cut the first call off the jig, I sat in my dad's shop chair the entire time from start to finish, the whole process. And
Yeah.
the first three fancy calls that are coming off that jig are all out of wood that was in his shop when he passed, and they're not leaving this house.
No. No.
So you can take a wild guess on who they're for.
Yeah.
So I'll get number three. They can fight over who gets number one. But
No,
yeah,
but
uh,
it's good, Rusty. Like it is, and it's good to see, and it's good to see that there's some thought behind things, and I'm not trying to get a slag in at anybody else, because I don't know other people. But like when this is what's important to you, it says a lot about your character, and it says a lot about what you care about, right? Because I've heard you tell me a million times, Damien, I'm not worried about money. I'm not like I don't do. I shouldn't say you're not worried about money. I don't do it for the money, is what you say, right? Like I don't do this for the money. I enjoy doing it. That's why you make them when you make them. You're not sitting there, and it's not a job to you, right? Like it's a hobby, and it's something that you love doing. And now that you've passed it on to the boys, like,
yeah,
I
hey,
don't
if
know,
they
man.
pick run with it a little bit,
Yeah.
awesome. If not, hey, you know what? Maybe one day they have boys of their own or girls that say, hey, Dad, hey, Grandpa, I want to get behind the lathe and mess around. Always got time for that kind of stuff.
I bet.
And this will never be about the money for me. I mean, I've got so many phenomenal friendships in this industry, and I know Bobby Hayes over at Ducklander is a dear
Yep.
friend of yours and Punishers, the
Yep.
shows. Great friend of mine. I don't talk to him a whole lot, but I'm the guy that doesn't bug people.
Yep.
That's the way I'm wired. And I just assume somebody calls me for a duck call, I just assume send him to Bobby, because
Yeah.
he does do it for a living. So
Yeah. Yep.
why not help audio? Like,
Yeah.
to me,
Absolutely.
more people that are that minded. And I'm not saying I'm right minded. It's just me, right? I like help. I like lifting my friends up.
Well,
So
and we talked about it before we hit the record button, Rusty. Like and I had said to you about, some things that are important to me, and I say it all the time, and Dave says it all the time, where we say, you surround yourself with good people and good things will happen, right? Um, this whole idea of this community, because everybody talks about this waterfowling community and how we got to look after one another, but yet you still, and human beings are going to be human beings, because there's going to be assholes out there, and there's going to be people that's going to try to take advantage of other people. And unfortunately, that's what normally gets the press, right? That's what gets everybody talking, is all the bad stuff. But you never hear that. People don't talk about the good things that's happening, right? And this is my segue into what we're trying to do in March of 2024, right? Like, we're trying to bring this amazing group of people that, I know, and then, between friends, and it's all under this big umbrella that we're calling the refuge. But if like, the conversations right now is nothing but excitement, because it's all of these just genuinely good people that just want to get out there and just talk to people, have some fun, um, and just promote, duck hunting, goose hunting, and everything that's involved in it, right? And when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, listen, I want to do something, and I have no idea how to pull it off," and you were the man that I could get honest answers from, because, like you said, those friends are hard to come by that'll give you honest answers, right? Because most people will tell you what they think you want to hear, and not necessarily tell you what you need to hear. So, and we can't get into it too much, but the the wheels are turning for a calling contest at the refuge in March of 2024. And if the momentum keeps going the way it's going right now, I would say it's going to be it's going to be quite good.
Yeah, well, we can take the wheels a little bit further.
Yeah.
We can drive it down the road a little bit.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. That's my
It's not a might happen. It's happening.
It's happening. Yes. 100% it's happening.
Like, it is a 100% green light, good to go. Calling contests for ducks and geese are coming back to Canada, and hopefully in a really big way. We won't know how big probably for another month or two.
That's right.
There's some exploratory things that have to be done between now and then, so that's why we can't touch too much base on it. But what I can say is that there will be the Canadian World Calling Championships at the Toronto Sportsman Show in March of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to try and attract some of the best callers in the world to these contests. More importantly, we're going to try and be extremely proactive and get the crowd interactive. We are going to be doing some very big things for the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to try and make this just an industry success. So whether you are the average Joe hunter that hunts twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
and we can give you enough value-added things to come to this show and leave extremely happy. And this is even above and beyond just the calling. There is so much thought going into everything that's going to happen in the refuge to make your experience as the average Joe, your as the average pro, your experience as someone that is in the industry and is there as a business. We are trying to make this a win for everybody, so that on Monday, when the show is done, all everybody's talking about is 2025.
Absolutely. And I got to give a shout out, because, you and I were back and forth talking about this, and then, it was you that said, you know what, Damien, this is great. It's an awesome idea, but without the Toronto Sportsman Show getting behind us and showing some commitment on their end, what we're just going around in circles and talking. We're not accomplishing anything. So we need to find out if the Toronto Sportsman Show is committed to this. And you know, we did a call with the general manager last week, I think, or the week before. I can't remember now. My days are all mixed together, but um, I didn't think that there was going to be an issue with commitment from him, but after talking to him, I was really impressed with the level of commitment from the Toronto Sportsman Show, and that and this is my plug to the Toronto Sportsman Show, because anybody that has been there, there's a bunch of people that remember the good old days of the Toronto Sportsman Show when it was massive and the dog trials and all of these things were going on. And then it slipped, and it slipped big. To which, you know, 2 years ago, a new company came in and took it over. And the excitement level from when you were talking to Mike, the general manager, his excitement level when you were talking to him showed me just how committed they were to making this show back to what it was in its glory days.
Yeah, it was as someone that's kind of come full circle in the whole contest calling scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see the fire in Mike's eyes, understanding the value added that can bring the show, especially the refuge,
Mm-hmm.
as a whole, as a way to tie consumer in with business and just merge great partnerships with everybody to make everybody be excited on the Monday for the
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Like it was like I've been around the block on a few of these, and usually it's like pulling teeth. And right from the drop of the word go, he was 450% behind everything we had to say. And granted, we didn't go in there shooting for the next galaxy. We just went in there and said, we need the moon.
Yeah.
And he said, I expect the moon.
Yep.
And it was pretty awesome. I wasn't, you know it, there's no sense in hiding it.
Yeah.
I was expecting that reaction. I was expecting a much harder sell in how it can be value added. And he got it right from the get-go, which leads me to think this show as a whole is only going to get better, because when people in his position can see the value added of interaction with people, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I can't speak high enough about Mike, and that's who I deal with. And you know, he backed that crazy idea that Dave and I had with the refuge, you know, back in 2020, you know, 2022, when we brought it forward to him. And you know what he said to me then? He said, you know what? We'll grow it together. We'll start small. And when he said grow it together, he meant growing the Toronto Sportsman Show together, because he said, I need you to grow just as much as you need me to grow, right? So it is, and I'm excited. Like, buddy, you have no, I think you do. You do know how excited I am about this. You know how excited I am to be bringing all of these vendors in, but then the idea, which is absolutely blowing my mind, the idea of the people that are going to be traveling in to take part in this, it's actually mind blowing. And listen, anybody that's listening, you think that we're putting the horse before the cart, we just can't get into the details just yet, but it's going to be good. You're not going to be disappointed, I promise you. If you're coming to either listen, partake, whatever, you're going to be impressed. So we don't need to beat it to death any more than that, Rusty. I think they should understand how excited we are about this.
So on a personal level for me, I'm probably not as excited as you and the involvement with everything.
Yeah.
But I'm crazy excited for it because we've been able to bring some of our dearest friends into this, even if they don't know.
Yeah.
Greg Taylor, talking about you, buddy.
Yeah, Greg Taylor, you don't know it yet.
It's coloring book time, and it's going to be better than the last one. And what's even cooler is we're going to make lots of new friends. And I'm talking consumer, hunter, fisher, business. It's going to be a time.
It is going to be a time.
Our job, we won't feel like we've done it if you don't leave this show immediately wanting to come back for more. And that is honestly, that's our game plan.
Yeah.
Like, this is not about me. It's not about you. This is about growing the community of waterfowl, outdoorsmen, hunters, women, kids. I'm excited, buddy. Like, this is going to be.
No, it is. And you know what? I think, you know, if I'm sitting back and if someone were to say, you know, what's your goal with all of this? And I can honestly tell you that my goal is exactly what it's already starting out to be, is that egos are put to the side. This is a chance to do something. And I'm not saying this is the only outdoor show where a bunch of vendors has come together. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm getting at. But this one is, it's not Harrisburg. It's not Rogers. It's not the DU Expo or the Delta event. You know, it's nothing of that grand. But this is, my goal is that everybody that's under this refuge, we'll show that, hey, listen, we can all be going after a piece of the same pie, and we can still get along, and we can still be civil to one another, and we can still promote one another, and we can look after and look for the betterment of one another, all under this one umbrella of the refuge, and everybody will see a success in it. And that's the goal in all of this, is just continue to keep building on this idea that we can all just get along, because we'll do better when we all get along.
Yeah, that's to me, that's where the mother of all inspiration comes from.
Yeah.
It's friendship. It's a friend that shares the same passion as you do, that might be a little bit better than you, that really lights that fire for you to do better on your own. Maybe not as good as person, but better. Right? Like,
no, absolutely, buddy. I love it. Hey, listen, I did want to talk to you. I'd say we got about 15, 20 minutes left, and there's some other stuff I'd like to talk about too. You know, you do, listen, I'm not here to pump your tires, because I know you get that a lot and stuff like that, but you do a bunch of stuff, right? Like, you're involved in your community, you're involved with your kids and all this stuff, but your volunteer work. So I know you have some banding coming up, and what I don't know is where the banding is. So is the banding with the Jack Miner Sanctuary, or is it with the provincial government's banding program?
So I've been twice now this year out to the Jack Miner Bird Sanctuary in Kingsville, Ontario.
Okay.
And I've helped band 200 or so birds in the 2 times I was there.
Okay.
I know yesterday and today, unfortunately, I had to work day shift, so I couldn't be there, but I believe they banded another 400 and change. I'm going in the middle of July this month to take a course to eventually, hopefully, get certified to become a bander.
Okay.
So hopefully be able to go wherever a volunteer might be.
Yeah.
Useful, helpful, whatever the term. Like, I'm not It's not about money. I just want to give back, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And Rusty, educate the people. So for anybody that's wondering, um, these birds, so these are nuisance birds that are being brought in from the cities, right? So they're capturing these birds. Is that correct?
a lot of them are, and I don't know all the particulars, so I won't go too into
Yeah.
detail on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Some of the birds are birds that have been hatched out at jack miners. There's resident
Okay.
geese
Yep.
there all year, but a lot of the birds are a nuisance type program that will, whatever the reasoning might be, they are brought in to the sanctuary. The Canadian Wildlife Service is kind of the spearhead of this. Norm North, I believe, is the head biologist in charge. And for lack of a better term, they go to like a municipality and round up the nuisance birds, and they're brought to places like a jack miner that can hold and care for
Yep.
the bird. From the time they're potentially a really small gosling, or just an adult bird that can't fly at the time due to molting.
Yep.
And they can raise the bird up in good health, and then the birds carry on their migratory ways. Once they start flying, you can't band 200 to 300 birds a day without a bunch of volunteers. Jack Miner, for as long as I can remember, has always had volunteers in. Everybody gets to be exactly hands-on, because the birds' health, the safety is of utmost priority. So they're not just going to allow anybody to go in there, because if you don't know how to handle a bird properly, you can actually really do some damage to them. And if you have too many people during the process, you
should see above your shoulder, above your right shoulder.
Oh, just up there. Yeah, he's Ashley, say hi. He's
fucking hilarious.
Throw something for him.
Sorry,
they're wild geese, and so you want to leave that wildness as much as humanly possible,
of course,
to them, and you don't want to disturb them. Probably won't see it on the camera, but if you can see, there's a scratch.
Yeah,
right here. We had to move some geese from one area of the sanctuary to the other, and so you just walk really, really slowly and form a line, and they kind of go out like marching soldiers. Well, I had the one jerk goose decide to turn around and go the other way, and right across the head. It knocked me down, and honestly almost knocked me out. My glasses went flying and got scratched, and all just in a day of volunteering to help, scientists, for lack of a better term, collect data on birds, right?
Yeah.
Like, so these transplant geese is what I call them. They try and band every one of them, and the majority of it is so that if they end up going back and they manage to get numbers off of them, they can know, okay, maybe this transplant program failed, maybe we need to take them elsewhere, because jack miners is not the only place in Ontario that gets these type of.
Nope, that's right.
It's dirty work. It's not all the glory that everybody might think it can be. A lot of times if they're filthy and beat up from the birds, especially geese, they're strong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
cobra chickens. Well, no, and they are, right? Like they're an aggressive, so they're a wild animal.
Aggressive, and they definitely don't like being compressed into a small area. And I mean, that's sadly what you have to do in order to be able to ban them. But like the amount of care and precaution that goes from Norm North and his entire staff all the way through the jack miner staff and the handful of volunteers they have help, it's pretty cool to see everybody coming together for a bunch of birds that a lot of city folk just think poop on their lawn and they're annoying.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's important work, and I wanted to bring something up because I just got it in the mail this week. And I don't know if they do this down the States, so I'd love for somebody that's listening that's from south of the border to send me a comment or send me something. So the Canadian Wildlife Service is here. There's a volunteer program that you can be a part of where you send back the wing of each duck that you harvest throughout the season, and then the tail feathers and the wing for geese, I think is what it is. Um, and you send those back, and they do their thing, and then they compute all that data, and it lets them know what's happening. I sent in, um, I had last year probably seen the most wood duck I have ever seen last year, and harvested the most wood duck. And the shocking thing is that every one that I harvested this year were all juveniles. Everyone, I never shot an adult wood duck this year at all. So what I had done is I had clipped the wings and filled out all the reports and sent it all in. So when they sent me back this week, the form to ask me if I wanted to participate again this year, they gave me the information on all the wings that I sent in, and all the wood ducks I sent in, every one of them was juvenile, which sort of sucks because they didn't get to live a long, lustrous life. But it's important work, and this whole world that we're caught up in of waterfowl, it relies, like you said, on volunteers on so many different levels. And if you can't go to a banding program, or if you can't be part of a fundraising chapter of Delta or Ducks Unlimited, you could do a simple thing as to be part of the wing survey, or there's always some volunteer work that you can do to give back, because I'm of the mentality that you can't constantly take. You can take for a bit, but you've got to give back at some point. And that's my rant about volunteering. That was very long.
Yeah, no, it's true though. Like, and you don't even need to volunteer for any specific organization. Like,
No.
walk through your local park and pick up some garbage. Like,
Yeah,
it all
true.
helps.
Yeah.
Like, again, like it, you know, I certainly don't need another feather in my cap to say, oh, I help over here, or
Mm-hmm.
I just do it because, I hope that when my kids maybe have kids one day, that the opportunities for them to see all of this kind of stuff will still be there.
Yeah.
I've taken plenty from the outdoors. It's time before I get too old to make sure I give more back than
Absolutely,
anything.
buddy. Absolutely, buddy. It's just it's our. I'm of the mentality that it is our responsibility that, uh, and I will say it to anybody. It is your responsibility to give something back. If
Yeah,
you're taken from it, you need to give something back,
yeah.
and that doesn't have to be like you're saying. It doesn't
Fine.
have to. It doesn't have to be anything huge, even if it's just as simple as, I bought a ticket, or I picked up some garbage. Just do something. That's all. And it doesn't have to be. You don't have to get an award for it or anything like that. Just do something, because it's appreciated and it's noticed. I, you know.
Yeah. And the cool part, when you do something like that, you feel better about
Yeah.
yourself, and you
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You've kind of done your part to make everything better. Yeah, it might not get better, but you've done what you can control.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everything is, but put the Facebook down for 20 minutes and do something proactive,
Yeah.
I guess.
Big time. I did want to end the show with this, and I'm sure it can flow over to you as well, Rusty. But I really wanted to end the show with a thank you to all of the people that listen and who are continually following us, Punisher Waterfowl, and the brand, and following this show. and that are messaging us and saying, you know, they like what we're doing and stuff like that. Thankfully, I don't have any douche. There's some people that don't like what we're doing, but they're not douchebags about it. It's just not their thing, which I'm cool with. So I don't have to deal with douchebags, which I'm super happy about. If you have any suggestions, and that goes for anything, that goes for the calling competition that Rusty and I are planning, that goes for the refuge, that goes for Punisher Waterfowl as a whole, or the Union 0430. And you know what? I'm pretty sure if you reached out to Rusty, which I'm telling you, if you're not following this man, you need to be following him on Instagram and on social. He don't post a lot. He don't, but you need to be following him and staying in the loop of what he's got going on, because I'm going to tell you, the first three might go in the house, but I'm going to be number 4, buddy. I promise you that, because I want one of those calls. That I'm sure of.
We
And
got you. You're
yeah, I know. Rusty, buddy, last words to you before we end this.
thanks for watching if you made it this far. The world needs more people like Damien. People that give a crap about things that are way bigger than just themselves. Do something good for your neighborhood, your community, whatever it might be. And don't make plans in March of 2024.
No, you're not
We
going to
might
want to.
get the hand out if you show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get bigger and better. Sadly for Phyllis, probably sometime in the next month or two, we're going to have some real big announcements as far as partners that really want to bang out of proportions. He's going to have to put up with me sooner or later. He can't dodge me forever.
I tell you what,
So,
now, in his defense, he may not have known that you were on the night, because I'm trying to think if I even said that it was you that was on tonight. So,
but you should always know that I could be the omnipresent.
Very true. Rusty, buddy, thanks so much for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to beat this, that you need to be paying attention to us, because we are going to be having some major announcements coming up in the next couple months, always, constantly, and we'll keep you in the loop and let you know what's going on. Listen, be nice to one another. Surround yourself with good people. Don't be a douchebag. Big love, and until next time.